Hello and welcome to Emotionally 14's gaming podcast, the E14 Gamecast. Hey! I'm your host Rob Wade and I'm joined by Blake Harmer.
Top games.
But that's your outro. What are you going to do in the intro? Say hello?
No. I know what my outro normally is.
Well, I guess history will tell us the reality, won't it? When we go back and
Should we go out and come in again?
No, that's fine. No, that would be professional.
Yeah.
Shall I respawn?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Just rage quit and try again.
And also,
just teabag my corpse while I'm respawning.
Done. And also joined by Spike Direction.
Boom games. I had something good to say, but I'm just going to nick yours. I lost it.
Welcome to the Tim Allen Impression Cast. Episode 1 of 1.
Clean your teeth on my bones. That's the thing he said.
You're a sad, strange little man.
You ever seen the thing where Tim Allen said that? It's Clickhole.
Yeah.
They did a thing, a supercut of every time Tim Allen said, clean your teeth on my bones.
Yeah, she said it once. Yeah.
He said it one time, but they just inserted it in so many, in all these different seasons. Like, kids, I'm going to need you to clean your teeth on my bones.
Makes Galaxy Quest really weird.
It's super weird. Anyway.
So, games. We've been playing some. Tabletop, video, the works. And we're going to tell you all about them. So, who wants to start us off? I don't know. Sorry, I went really like late night radio. I was like, here for the Emotionally 14 Gamecast, and this is Blake with stuff on the Switch.
All sorts of games.
Playing a bit games on each console.
Well, that's good actually because we had a listener. Oh shit, reviews. So we had a listener question.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
people listened.
Professional.
People said stuff.
Yeah. So we had a couple of reviews from some people from the wider podcast community, but also fans of the more traditional listeners as well. So first is from Chris at the J and Bob Minute. So that's the Clerks Minute, they're called.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, it's one of these, I've not seen these pop up until recently, and now they're everywhere. Podcasts that go through a film minute by minute. Every episode is 1 minute of the film, and then they discuss it. And apparently it's great. Like it's apparently you can just get so much information out of some of these things.
That's the sort of deep dive you can only really get with podcasts.
It's some proper deep cut stuff, but it's very impressive, and I've got nothing but respect for people who can manage to do it because I struggled last episode to talk for half an hour about 2 games I played, single player games.
There's a lot of research involved, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess it must be, and they probably talk about it from a technical point of view, maybe from the sound design. If there's music, they can talk about the music. So I can imagine you can probably get going.
You'll have to write that down for me as
well. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Basically, I'll write you down a whole list.
I've not even heard of that.
So
the concept, I mean.
So yeah, this is the Clerks Minute, but it says Chris at J and Bob Minute. So I think that's maybe their Twitter. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
J and Bob Minute. Chris very kindly wrote best Gamecast on iTunes, and he's apparently listened to every single one of them to be able to say that. So bless his heart.
He is qualified.
Yeah.
He's done the legwork.
Done the homework.
Yeah, clearly he's done the legwork. So you can't really argue with that. If the guy just puts research thoroughly into everything he does, it's 1 minute of Clerks at a time, and then it's also, every Gamecast in the world.
Well, he's clearly meticulous.
Really, and he's obviously very discerning as well, because that's just obvious from his review. And then our other review comes from number one superfan Paul, who writes as Pajako on iTunes, and he writes, "If I listen anymore, I'll be skint. The gang talk about a range of video games and board games, some that are totally my thing, some not my thing, some I haven't even heard of or even considered before. Some really good points raised on some games, and the fact that they all like different things makes this podcast really well balanced and not totally one-sided. The list of games I want to play and buy is getting bigger every time I listen, and my wallet can't take no more."
Possessed by the spirit of Paul.
Yeah. But thank you again, Paul. There's nothing quite like being told you make me want to spend money. And obviously, don't forget, listeners, if you want to spend money by going to the Amazon Associates account, and you can access the link on Emotionally 14's website. You can go to Amazon, buy your games there.
We get a little bit that we talk about here.
Yeah, we get a little bit of love out of it.
There'll be some making those games and wants to give us free shit to tell people to buy.
Well,
anytime.
I'm not going to tell anybody no, am I?
Not going to be Electronic Arts.
We are very capitalism orientated.
Well, we used to. Back in the day, we used to get EA stuff.
Yeah, they
mostly Sims,
and they were still evil then. So I suppose.
Yeah, allegedly.
Have you seen that? I just saw a Brad, I think it was, shared a great cartoon about EA today.
Oh, really?
Actually, I've just spoiled the punchline by saying it was about EA.
Oh, is it the Scroll of Truth one?
No, it was a guy going for a job interview. And
yeah.
The guy says, sorry, it says that there's only one page here, but it says it's page 1 of 2. And the guy goes, page 2 is the $10 DLC. He's like, you're hired! And then it reveals that he's got an interview at EA.
I got a similar...
I spoiled that shit.
Yeah, I got a similar one the other day from a friend who said... so it said it's like an explorer who's going through a cave, and he's like, "Finally, I have it! The scroll of ultimate truth." And his face is the Photoshop with the EA logo, and he opens the scroll, and it says, "Sell the full game for the full price." And he's like, and just chucks it away. I don't know what the original cartoon says, but yeah, I mean, obviously, we have our thoughts on that.
That's the thing we should probably talk about, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean they've come under some understandable flack because their Battlefront stuff is a bit of a clusterfuck.
If people have been grumbling about this sort of thing,
people were grumbling about Need for Speed, but I think because the main media focus was on Battlefront, and Need for Speed came out about the same time as a form of loop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it didn't get half the flack that the other game did, and so they've obviously gone, better change that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
which is fair.
There's been loot-based economies in games for years and years and years, and I think the problem is ultimately that it's always previously been cosmetic. For the most part, it's been cosmetic stuff that you don't really...
Overwatch.
That's why
Overwatch was mentioned, wasn't it?
Yeah, Overwatch has had it for thing, but I mean, if people want to buy cosmetic items for their characters, well, that's their money at the end of the day.
Ultimately, it's always
the difference is if it's game stuff and it's like you're paying to win.
That's the thing. That's what the biggest argument with it is that you're buying ability star cards that you characters to make them more powerful.
Yeah,
but also because they're randomly generated, you could spend a fortune.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
it is could be argued as a form of gambling.
I have some strong feelings on that because obviously I work within an industry that's quite closely tied to gambling.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the general...
It didn't. But I could certainly see how it could, and they could end up going down the road if they're not careful, where they would have to be subject to significantly more scrutiny. Yeah, for sure.
A lot of them I think the general people whinging about it, people that are worried that it might fall.
Yeah, let's say I can certainly see.
Or in typical internet fashion, they're knee-jerking. But
there's that, yeah.
It could be argued it's the thin end of the wedge, isn't it?
Yeah, circle or knee, choose your jerk. Yeah. That's the internet for you. Yeah.
That needs to be a t-shirt,
knee, or comments. Yeah, choose your jerk. Yeah. No, I'd say I can totally see how if they're not careful, they could go down a route where they would be very much more.
I'm sure that if they had the opportunity to, they would.
The thing is, if they see it making enough money, they would consider it at least. Like there was some like patent Activision filed for. They haven't actually used it for anything, but there's some really creepy kind of setting a terrifying precedent patent that Activision,
something for loot boxes.
No, it's something like that. It's like let me just see. I
know there are technically loot boxes in the new COD.
To do with microtransactions.
Fact check.
Right, here we go. So it's
pending.
It's a so they have a patent that manipulates matchmaking in order to encourage you to spend money on in-game items, with the basic idea being to purposefully match you with players that have better and more desirable items than you. They said they have not used it for anything. It's just a patent they filed because they didn't want anybody else to get it. But
maybe it's like good guy Activision, and they're just going to sit on it forever.
You would hope,
and not anyone use it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only way
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, the only way people would ever believe that was the case instantly was if CD Projekt Red did it. It'd be like, "Oh, Witcher, you cannot do any wrong." It's like you must be doing it for benevolent reasons. They're like, "That is exactly what we want you to think." When we fuck you hard and fast.
Yes. Plague went.
Plague went, motherfuckers. Yeah, I say I can. I certainly would go as far as to say that, regardless of what you think about the gambling situation, they done goofed. pretty clearly.
They didn't handle themselves even better with the whole media side of it either. And as a publicity thing goes,
I think that's the thing that really hurt them in the end and made them capitulate.
It was 10 times.
They just kind of flubbed.
Explanation was even worse. Yeah.
Because they just basically gave bullshit answers.
Yeah. If they just said, they're like, all right, we'll look at it. In the meantime, it's optional. Spending your own money in addition is optional.
I think some people knee-jerk because I know that they were going like, oh yeah, but mindful. Yeah, and I just went, probably going to buy the game and play it for 40 hours anyway. What's the problem?
Yeah. Well, also like when they changed the ratios, because Omar and Joe have both got Battlefront, or at least Joe had it because I think he got it a couple of days early because it's the Lux Trooper edition. It came early, something like that. I think they were both playing, and they were saying like they played for a few hours and they were able to unlock a hero. But then I think that was just after
they altered the thresholds pretty much immediately.
Yeah,
I think.
so I think it was just after that they played it and they were like, "This is fine." Yeah. It's like maybe they just got it right first time with second time.
Yeah, I say it was they lowered it.
The first revision.
I'll admit I've not played the beta or any of it.
I've watched a lot of our boy John at Nerd Hall.
Shout out to John.
John,
if we can acquire you, we will happily do so, sir.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of playthroughs of it, and he's watch him because bless him, he's not a pro gamer.
No,
that's what I'll say.
From what I've seen of his, I gathered.
He's that's what makes it good. Is he's just an average player. He's
an everyman.
Yeah. And his reaction to getting killed is always glorious. Just like shit. But actually, he tries not to swear now because YouTube. But he's like, blooming heck! Just like so.
Blimey trousers.
He's so very English when he gets killed. Yeah. It's chaos! And I've been killed. Blooming hell! Yeah. But, I think he's managed to unlock somebody as well.
Yeah,
but I mean, he plays a lot because he plays
the first revision. I think they probably got it about right. For they can still carry on tweaking the stuff. That's the thing as well. Is like the world we live in is so far removed from. You imagine, if this say there was no multiplayer, but it was a game that came out 20 years ago on like N64 or something, and it was broken. You were fucked. That was it. You didn't have any. There was no recourse.
They always go like, rose tinted specs view of.
Oh, for sure.
Games where
they're more expensive too.
Where they would just go, the games were always released and they were perfect, and that you don't get this on where you get them where they're big, massive, broken. Where they get released and require day one patches. And true, you never got that, and the good games that everyone those are the ones that went.
Sure, or if they had funny glitches. A lot of them had funny glitches. Even some of the ones today do.
I mean, there were some games where they were terrible and
My copy of WWF No Mercy, I've told you this story before. I think I told it in the air. I had one of the first copies of I guess it must have been like one of the first or second batch or something of WWF No Mercy on the N64. Amazing game. One of the best wrestling games I've ever played in my life, still to this day. But it had a bug where it would periodically wipe your save data. So all the characters you'd unlocked by playing through the campaigns and the stories were just gone. The only way you could retain them was to make a copy of the character onto a memory card, and it wasn't the same because it didn't have all. You had to go in and tweak everything manually to make it work. But then back in those days, like I sent them a letter saying my copy is broken and my friend's copy is broken as well, and they came back and said we're not aware of any sort of long-term issues with this game. It's like nowadays you can't get away with that shit.
No.
Because there would be a forum somewhere saying like, I've got this bug, and everybody is like, yeah, me too, 10,000 upvotes. And
also,
some people
there would be a YouTube evidence of said.
That's the other thing is you couldn't screenshot back then because it was just you'd just be taking a picture with a fucking Polaroid and sending that to them, like shaking it out in the post. Yeah, but like this is it, And again, speaking from like a development point of view, unless you own the platform, which most places don't, you can't touch the game for about a month before it comes out. Because it has to go off and be certified, and in this case, it has to be printed and stuff. So then the development team has fuck all to do otherwise, so they go in and they fix bugs.
Quality checked by Sega, Nintendo.
Because patches, you can ship within a day.
Yeah.
Whereas the game takes months. And then takes, there's a month cycle. It used to be
like
even
a
worse.
mantra now, and it's like shit broken patch later.
Yeah,
that's
and I think that's what people do whinge about.
Because you almost, like I say, it's almost as long as you can get the patch out on time, which doesn't always happen. As long as you get the patch out on time, that is a better way of doing it. Because and the other thing is the budgets have gone up exponentially. The prices have gone down in relative terms. Like the prices of games are actually cheaper than they used to be. In terms of like certainly compared
games
to
used to be like
60, 70 quid.
60, 70.
Yeah. And now it's like
until it always shocks me. It's not a game, but media generally.
Yeah.
My parents have got an old VHS copy of Predator. That's a price tag on it. VHS single tape of Predator, $79.99.
Yeah.
This is it. We
When
forget.
VHS was new, I think they were like stupid money. They were like 200 quid a tape. And
Yeah. My parents
took ages to bring the price down.
My parents had a VHS, not like really early on, but like when whatever they had before broke, they got a VHS, and they were paying. Like, I think they bought 40 Towers, and that was £100.
Madness.
Now it's like I bought the whole series on iTunes for £10, and it can live on my iPod.
Yep.
So it's ridiculous. I think. And it sounds crotchety to say, like, kids today don't know how good they've got it. But in many ways, they've
kids
got
today don't know how good they got it.
But I understand it because ultimately they have no frame of reference. So they just, it's not possible to know.
It doesn't make certain companies doing dodgy shit any less dodgy.
Oh, for sure.
Shit,
no, definitely not. No. But, but the thing is that what I was kind of, like where I was coming to with this, where we got from into the weeds on that, is that the algorithms they use to calculate this stuff can be updated really quickly.
Yeah.
So if they want to roll back,
if they want to change
they want to adjust the thresholds, it might be as simple as saying, okay, times 0.25.
They've done it.
Yeah.
They've done it within days of release. So,
exactly. So it must be relatively simple.
At this point in time, they had scrapped the...
They're going to bring them back.
But they said, we don't know when that'll be.
Yeah.
Maybe
will be once
whenever they do.
Down.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but then it might be that is, it's the same system, but it's implemented.
It kind of makes sense then, because if you get to a point where everybody's bought the game, then it makes sense to kind of introduce the microtransactions at that point, because then it's almost like DLC, isn't it? I was quite pleased I caught some Pokemon while I was in Mexico.
Yeah, nice.
They were no different. They were just...
Just little sombreros on.
I was just like, look, this Krabby, he came from Mexico. He was on the fucking beach and everything.
We call him El Krabby.
We call him Maracas.
I did go through and rename them all at one point. It was good, but it's... I
think I had one called proper. I've got a Growlithe called Firewolf.
Firewolf?
Yeah.
It's literal.
I got inspired by a mutual kind of acquaintance, Karina. You know Karina?
Oh, yeah.
She put a screenshot up and everybody was like, like cunty flaps and things like that. And I was just like, I should give mine some fun names. Yeah. But I didn't, for some reason, I was just like, I won't curse. Just like, Firewolf. Electric bastard.
That's quite cursing.
Yeah. Well,
I must admit, I think we changed the names at the beginning, and I must admit I stopped.
After a while.
I think the only time I change the name is to get an Eevee evolution.
To gain the Eevees, yeah.
Once you get to your 20th Pidgey, you're like, no, I can't think of any more fun bird names.
Mr. Cunt Bird 8.
Yeah. Fuck Pigeon 3.
Yeah. But, I mean... Yeah, on the Battlefront thing, I'm hoping that they get it now, because I feel like they have. I know people say like EA don't get it, but even if you accept that all they care about is money, this is costing them.
Oh yeah, I think this whole publicity
one way or another, they're going to get it.
I was a bit worried that this whole thing could lead to it being the next Evolve, but.
Yeah, there is that, but I think Star Wars, the player base, is enthusiastic.
There's enough people, and I still want the game at the end of the day.
I will pick it up at some point. I'm not in a desperate rush to pick it up for full price.
As I said, I'll put it on my list.
Yeah,
that's what Crouch was saying about it. He's like, you can complain about it all you want, and I do get it, but I'm still going to play it because it's Star Wars.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
And I think I'm of that mindset as well. I mean, I'm not a big multiplayer gamer.
No, I mean not.
There's a bit more single player stuff in it this time, out of the box.
Yeah, I've heard the single player content isn't great.
Campaign's all right.
And it
has moments. I'm not a big fan of the story, the way the direction they took some of the story in, but I haven't actually finished it, but I've had it spoiled for me because I'm on Reddit. So there's that. It happens, and I've made my peace with it. And being on Talk Star Wars, I've long ago made my peace with the fact that I'm never going to be able to go spoiler free, never in my life, because you're always going to just talk about so many speculation stories that end up coming to fruition because you talk about every possible conceivable combination.
The plus side, I've been avoiding it, and I'm looking forward to Last Jedi because I have no chance. I've none of it potentially spoiled for.
I've just watched all the trailers.
Yeah, I've watched the trailers, some of the TV spots. I haven't had time. I haven't really got a chance to watch all of them. So
I think the trailer has obviously been out of order.
That's fine. I mean, I think
there's certain scenes there that have been cut to make it look like a certain thing is happening.
Yes,
but
I
they're
agree.
actually two separate
I would
scenes.
like,
That's quite
totally,
clearly happening
totally agree.
in the trailer.
Yeah. There are some people who are absolutely adamant that that's not the case, but we'll see. Ultimately,
we will see.
That's the thing. I'm happy to just go. 2 more weeks, guys. I can wait.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's not long now.
Yeah, not long now.
Yeah.
All the old midnight showings.
Anyway, games.
Games.
Yeah.
So
what else have you been playing?
In terms of another game I've played that's also 2D, I finished Cuphead.
You must be
I saw
pretty.
you post about that.
Oh, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
He
get good.
He got good.
Yeah.
There was, well, as with those sort of games, I do sometimes feel that they're like Stockholm Syndrome in game form, because they are, it's so pretty. Like the animation style on it, graphics of it is beautiful. I don't know if you've seen any of
I've seen
Cuphead.
it, yeah, I haven't, yeah.
Yeah, it is so beautiful, like 1920s, 1930s style animation, and all hand drawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like, well, it's basically like a Souls-like in like bullet hell form. And yeah, it is good. It's like, whilst I recently finished Recore, and I found that some at the end of that incredibly frustrating, where just like I felt like the monsters were killing me because of bad game design rather than because I was playing badly.
Did you finish the game?
I did finish it. Yeah,
you did better than I did.
But I finished it, but I was wondering why, because I think if game had ended where you fought whatever his name was, that guy's name,
Loki, villain man.
Yeah, the big gorilla monster.
Yeah.
If you'd fought that, if you beat him after the first time, and then it ended, I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be, it carried on for ages, and then you basically fight him again, and then it ends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a slightly different.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have said it was radically different enough for it to warrant extending the game for that long.
Yeah, fair enough.
It could have ended it there, and that would have been it.
Yeah.
Whilst I was going, it's so frustrating because some of the monsters spamming attack you, and there's nothing you could do.
Yeah,
stuff
really.
like that. At least with Cuphead, I was like, it's killed me. But at least it was my fault.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
It killed me.
But you know what you did right.
I deserved
At least
this.
I know it's because I'm shit.
Yeah.
Because of any other reason.
Yeah. 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 Any others?
Lastly, but not least, I'm now playing Assassin's Creed.
Origins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've played it a bit over the weekend. I feel like I've only scratched the surface, even though I've played it for a good few hours.
Okay.
It's
cool.
massive.
That's good.
Like a really huge map of Egypt. Lots of side
whole
stuff
country.
to do.
Just to walk
Well,
around.
It's just all of
No
Egypt
horses.
rendered
horses.
I don't think
no
it's
horses or
I
anything.
doubt it's all of Egypt, but it is massive. It's a massive map, and there's lots of that. And I mean, there is Giza and other like that there as well. And it is, there's loads to do. You know, you're riding a lot on horses like that.
Wait, wonder if it's all of Egypt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Wanna be.
It's. I've not really had a fault with the game yet. Combat's better. There's damn sight less bugs than there were in the previous Assassin's Creed games.
Yep. People have faces and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't turn into those sort of flesh thing monsters.
Yeah. Turn into a bunch of eyeballs or whatever.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, I've not been able to afford it. I think it's a good return to form for the series.
Nice. Excellent.
At the moment, whether something grates on me after so many hours, I don't know. But
Mafia 3 syndrome.
Hey, you were really enjoying that at the beginning.
I still did. I played all the way through. 100% did all the collectibles. Didn't get an achievement for it, bastards. But usually you do. But it's basically like a next generation Punisher game. It's you tracking down Mafia bosses and flushing them out and killing them.
Okay.
And it's cool in that respect. It's just it can get quite repetitive if you play it a lot in a big session. Like if you play 4 or 5 hours, you're just like, fuck.
They should have made a sequel.
Yeah, they should have. I'm hoping for that Xbox version to go back catalogue. Now you got the original Xbox stuff. There's no reason why it can't, except for licensing with THQ, I guess, because now they're gone. I don't know who would have bought their old properties. Maybe it's for sale. Maybe we can just buy it.
Who's making the Dawn of War? Maybe
Published by Emotion E14.
Relic are owned by Sega now.
Okay. So
I
maybe
think
they've
they
got it.
did Dawn of War.
But then it's Disney, which means it would be Activision, wouldn't it?
That'll be the other thing, is whether the Punisher license is back to Disney.
So they might have control over
They
it.
did a new Punisher and got the new guy from Netflix.
That'd be cool.
I'd be down with
probably
that.
a
Well,
might-
it's Tom Jane in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably a minefield
Maybe
in the
Boy's good.
sense of
What's
the Blade Runner video game. But
Yeah, probably. Or like GoldenEye, when their original plan was to have all the different Bonds, but they realised they had to get permission from each actor,
each of the actors,
render it in. So then when it came to people saying, "Oh, bring GoldenEye, the original GoldenEye to Xbox," people were like, "Fuck off." The license was let me think. The Bond license was with Activision at the time. The GoldenEye license had switched to EA because they did that fucking Rogue Agent game.
Oh yeah.
So GoldenEye was technically EA, Bond was Activision. The source code was Rare, but it was also part owned by Nintendo. So it was like a real, like, it would have had to get so much sign off. In the end, they just Activision took it and redid it with Daniel Craig, and then re-released it as GoldenEye Reloaded, and it was good.
You guys probably know, but it interested me. I discovered that the multiplayer part of GoldenEye was made by the developers without the knowledge of the.
Yeah, it was like an afterthought.
They did it without asking anyone.
Yeah,
because they basically been told they didn't have time to do it, so they just did it, and then the whoever the CEOs or somebody was like at the last minute, "Oh, maybe we should have a multiplayer," and they were like, "Fortunately for you, we anticipated this, and they had it all ready to go.
We thought you might.
It without permission.
We thought you might ask for something that's ridiculous in the timescale, but so we did it anyway."
And it's like the most iconic part of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
So I'll tell you what, though, I've played the N64 version a couple of months ago. It's not dated.
It won't have aged well.
No, the controls haven't, certainly.
No, well, that's it, because you assume it's going to be like how a FPS is now, but it's not.
It's because all the movements map to the C buttons rather than the stick.
Nobody used that.
Funky.
It's like having an analog stick and a D-pad.
It's still silly fun.
Like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. And I mean, in terms of still having friends over and playing it, because you're all playing with those shit controls, it's fine. You know. But
everybody's, you know.
I think everyone's memories of it. It's a bit like I had fond memories of Mario Party. Playing through Mario Party again, now I realise how much of a rape-a-thon that game is.
That game hates you and everything about you.
There is that.
And basically, at the end of it, none of what you do actually helps, because it just comes down to blind luck and whether you win or not.
Yeah. Where are you, Spike? You said in the Crazy Train that we recorded earlier on tonight, so behind the curtain. Just pay no attention to the men behind the curtain. You got the balls out and everything.
Dirty people.
Dirty balls out people. So you were saying before, during the Crazy Train recording, you have a 360 that you've just acquired.
Oh, yeah, well, it's not... I acquired it a little while ago now, but I've been gradually working my way through the 360 back catalogue, playing all the games that everybody else played at the time. You know?
That's fine. Some of them are still classics.
I just finished Portal 2.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Love it.
So I discovered there's people who still don't know. I was able to make some like callbacks and references, and I was quite proud of myself for being fairly on it. Yeah. But then nobody knew what I meant when I started going, space, gotta go to space, gotta go to space. But no, they had no idea what I was talking about.
No.
We're in space. No. Yeah, I know, mate.
That's the bit. Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah. He's so cheerful. Yeah. Even though.
It's a brilliant game, yeah.
It's the only game that I think has made... There's very few games that I think actually nail.
And I love
I think that one is just perfect.
I love how they tell quite a dark story, quite subtly.
Sure, they do with all the Caroline stuff.
They're actually going to tell it more overtly than they did, I've discovered.
Yeah.
But J.K. Simmons wouldn't read the lines.
Oh, okay.
Because there was like lines explicitly talking about putting Carolyn in the computer, and then it's like some female actress recorded dialogue saying, "No, don't do it, I don't," and they're like forcibly making her into GLaDOS. But J.K. Simmons was like, "I'm not saying that shit. It's too weird." I'd like.
I think
it's
the
much
fact
better
it's
the way
heavily
they did
implied,
it.
I thought was enough.
It's much better,
yeah. And actually, apparently, I was watching because I watch a lot of What Culture videos when I've got like nothing particular to do. I like to put the lists on and just kind of have them as background noise. On a game where I don't give a fuck about the soundtrack. And they were doing one about like 10 like surprising twists in video games that you would have picked up on if you were like the second time through because you're looking for it. And apparently there is an Easter egg in Portal 2 earlier in the game where it says it's Carolyn. She's Carolyn or something.
Oh, it's Carolyn.
Yeah, something like that. Something to that effect. Word to that effect that basically you realise like that's who is in the computer. Or it's like she's in the computer.
But you wouldn't
or something.
know that because Carolyn isn't really introduced as a character.
Yeah,
so you get to Cave Johnson.
You'd pick up on it in the second time round because you're looking for the second time you watch Usual Suspects, you're looking for hints of
I'm
the guy who's going to burn your house down.
Turn it down. Like if he just turns to the camera and he goes, "It's me.
I'm in your house.
Also, I raped a child." It's just his faces.
Yeah.
I'm secretly
allegedly
horrible.
Allegedly. I fulfill my legal obligations.
E14 legal disclaimer.
Gamecast. Why am I doing this here? So what else is on your play pile?
Mostly, I've been playing games with physical objects. Tabletop games. It's a weird way of saying I've been playing tabletop games.
Sorry, I was just like, games with physical objects. It's like any shooter then. Guns are physical objects, dude.
Games in the real world outside of a computer.
Still indoors though, right?
Yeah, still indoors. Not out. I draw the line at sports, please.
Fine.
I'm this fat for a reason. But,
you do all this walking.
I know.
Basically, just got enormous quads.
It's not done anything.
For me. Every day is leg day.
It does nothing for me, but I don't skip leg day.
I've noticed this, right? Just as a weird aside, I've noticed about myself. There's a lot of one of the things or perks of our work is there's a local gym and there's like a discounted membership and stuff. A lot of people go to the gym at lunchtime. Every time I see somebody on the way to the gym, I go, is it leg day today? And in my mind, they've just got these fucking enormous, like, Hammer Industries drone quads. Fucking great, massive, skeleton, like, enormous 3-foot thick legs. Just, yes, it is leg day.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know why my brain does that.
Whenever I think of jokes about leg day, all I can think of is, like, Terry Crews from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Terry never skips leg day.
Maybe that's where it's something like that it comes from. Like, but it's just every time I talk about the gym, it's always, is it leg day today? Yeah. It's like as if it's going to be, like I say, just walking through with these tree trunks for the hand.
No, actually, it's wrist day. Massive wrist.
Slap me across the room, literally. One side of the corridor to the other.
Yeah, don't want to play him at the Wii.
So tell us more about these Tabletop games.
I've done a horrible thing. Well, I say some people might say
you've done an enjoyable thing, but you feel wrong.
I'm getting back into Warhammer for the first time since I was about 15.
Oh wow!
Because I've jumped in on the new 8th edition of 40k, which seems to be. I'm finding it quite exciting. I haven't actually played a game yet, but I started getting an army together because my mate Jim, he's been playing with his kid.
Hello, Jim.
Hey, Jim. He's him and his kid and a couple of mates.
I saw some of his models he's been painting on Instagram or Facebook, maybe.
Yeah,
something like that.
I think he's playing Orcs, and Liam, the kid, is playing the new Primaris Space Marines.
Ooh, okay, they sound cool.
They are also. I'll get to that, but it's just they've kind of made a real effort to. One, they've moved the story forward.
Yeah,
because the whole 40k fluff has been stuck at like 2 minutes to midnight for about 20 years. It's been like
I thought the plot never changed.
It's been year 999 of the 41st millennium since about 1980.
Yeah,
and they've actually jumped forward 100 years.
4199.
Yeah, it's like it's actually should be Warhammer 41,000 now because it's the next. They're fully in the next millennium.
Yeah,
but they've sort of. They meant that they did a big organised play event about 10 years ago of the 13th Black Crusade when all the chaos comes out of the Eye of Terror. And basically the resolution of that, they've now decided, is that Adia, the planet, the sort of gate to Imperium, has been destroyed completely and chaos has flooded out across the whole Imperium.
Oh, wow.
They've got like a new map where the Eye of Terror sort of spreads out like a spider and covers absolutely everything.
That's awesome.
So everything's gone to fuck. And the Imperium's solution to this...
I want that to be the audio, but everything had gone to fuck.
That's the first line.
Get to Eye of Terror Island.
Everything had gone to fuck Island.
They've done that. They've started bringing the Primarchs back. Because they've only existed in the fluff for a long time.
The budget range of...
budget
range of troopers.
They're the Space Marine...
they're the chapter leaders,
basically, but they're like
Primarch
large.
Space Marines are the ones with like aluminium shields.
They're like the pure genes, aren't they?
Yeah, they're sort of the original prototype Space Marines for each. There's one for each chapter, and they're like their leaders.
Armors made of Coke cans.
They've brought back
the ones for the
Ultramarines,
who got totally served.
You've got a playable figure of Rubutu Guilliman now, the Ultramarines Primarch, and Mortarion, the Death Guard Primarch, who's one of the evil ones,
right?
And so they're playable characters. Rubutu Guilliman is the Lord Commander of the Imperium. He's sort of led this sort of effort to sort of rebuild everything. And one of the things they've done is they've made these new Space Marines who are sort of taller, more powerful, and they're really cool models primarily, which is the thing that stuck me into it. The Primaris Marines look awesome. They're that bit bigger. They're kind of easier to paint. Really simple, good-looking, well-posed models, and they're all totally different and new to look at. Like there's There's the ones that are just like regular Marines, and then there's ones who are sort of like stealth guys, and they've all got skulls on their helmets. They look a bit like Emil from Halo Reach.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then there's these interceptor ones who are sort of the jump pack guys, but they've sort of got like a massive machine gun in each hand, and they sort of come down from orbit and just go fly away again.
Okay, cool.
They've designed a whole new army from the ground up, and it just looks good, which makes a nice change, because I think,
to be honest, the Imperium of Man probably need a little bit of a shake-up. So
this is kind of what they've done. They've kind of given it a little bit of a shake-up, but not a lot, and they've made it. I think
Acadian Guard, though, eh?
The Cadians still exist, because apparently they just evacuated the planet and spread across the Imperium, so all the Cadian units still exist. That's the army I've gone for. Actually, I'm buying up Imperial Guard.
Okay.
I made a commitment to get some Imperial Guard, and I bought a load, and then I realised that you can get the Adeptus Mechanicus as a field army now. Like the tech priests and that have their own army of all the Skitari.
Isn't it surely just like tanks and nothing else?
No, they don't have any tanks. They've got like a walker. They've got this thing, the Dune Crawler, which is like a 4-legged spider tank thing. And they've got these things called Castellan robots, which are like ancient robots that are controlled by one tech priest. And they look like something from a 50s sci-fi movie. They're all sort of round and like they've got... In fact, all the Adeptus Mechanicus stuff has this really cool vintage sci-fi aesthetic. It's like almost steampunk.
Like cyber steampunk.
Steampunk, like diesel
fighting machines type looking.
But also kind of 50s, kind of like, especially the Castellan robots. If you see them, you know what I mean. They've got this real 50s look. Yeah. And they've got the Imperial Knights, which are like little titans. I think they fight for them. Yeah. But that's a whole new army that's come into being since I last looked at it. And when I saw all that stuff, I was like, that's what I should have gone for. But
to be honest, you're selling this to a man who only plays second ed, so
yeah. Well, that's
about
the
6th edition.
Last time I played was 3rd edition. So
I see what you mean about the. I'm just having a look at the Castellan Battle Automata.
Yeah,
and they're kind of they got that sort of 50 sci-fi look to them for damn sure.
Cross with 209.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. I like that.
But what's the other? The rules are great now because they've kind of.
Oh, sorry.
They're really flexible. Where they used to have to kind of know everything to play. Now there's like a basic version of the game. There's a version of the rules downloadable for free online that's like 6 pages. With that, you can play.
It's like the quick start guide, basically.
And every box of models that you buy comes with the rules for those models in the box.
Oh, cool.
Like a data sheet with all their stats on.
That's awesome.
So if you buy a few figures and download these rules for free online, you can play.
Yeah, that's
immediately.
Good.
And then optionally you can expand to get the full rule book, the codexes, and then the rules actually go, if you want, then go even deeper than they used to, like options and stuff. But it's all kind of optional and modular, and you can use the bits of it you want as required. If you want, you can just turn up with whatever models you got and just play, or you can play like a proper points game. I think most people will still.
Yeah.
The options are there, and that kind of appealed to me because I was always a little bit intimidated.
I think it's the whole. Well, admittedly, I think it was the money pit and changing all of the models of how they looked aesthetically. I mean,
they did
I mean, I still think a Carnifex in 2nd edition looks a lot better than 3rd edition.
The ones they do now. That is still a thing. Like, I look at a lot of the models, I think they're too busy. Too much going on, you can't tell what they are. That's particularly a problem with the Death Guard stuff, which they've just brought out. When you compare it to the new Marines, which are so clean and simple, and then the Death Guard, by comparison, are just covered. They're like over sculpted.
Okay.
Like covered in spikes and protrusions and guts spilling out and all that. Well, that it makes sense for them, but when you can't tell what you're looking at,
and painting it is probably a nightmare.
Painting it is a nightmare, but actually, some of the starter sets, there's about 6 different starter sets of different sizes depending on what you want. Starter sets now come with coloured plastics. You don't even have to paint them.
Nice.
I know.
So they're basically almost like primed.
Yeah.
So you can do the detail if you want.
One is blue plastic, one is green, and that is it.
So you could have Ultramarines versus Orcs, and you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the great thing about it is they've made it so easy to kind of fall into.
When they've released this, have they released codexes, or are they still doing in a way that they used to, where they bring a codex out every so many months?
Well, when they released the new rules, they did the indexes, which had an army list for every race, and then they've been gradually rolling out the codexes. Fairly short order after that. There's quite a few are out. The Space Marines, obviously, Death Guard, and Chaos Space Marines more generically, Imperial Guard they've done, Adeptus Mechanicus they've done, I think Craftworld Eldar they've done. Tyranids are just coming out now. I don't think they've done Orcs yet.
Yeah,
but they've done most of them.
Yeah, my 2 main armies when I was playing I had a Blood Angels, Space Marines, and I had Tyranids.
Yeah, they've just some
I've
of those
always
models.
pronounced it Tyranids until I met someone else.
You know what they have? You know what they do have now? They have a list for a Gene Stealer Cult army again, and they actually have Gene Stealer Cult models readily available. And mostly
proper Magus and hybrids.
Yeah, they've got like a little box set with a Magus and a Patriarch and like a couple of others. They look really good. And then they've also got a sprue that you can buy, which is just accessories to add to an Imperial Guard box to make them Gene Stealer Cult armies.
I suppose that's all they are. A lot of cultists are essentially Imperial Guard.
Swap the heads and stuff, and you've got Gene Stealer Cults.
I like some of their approach. Like I was in a shop the other day, looking at their starter kit, and the starter kit had the thing said easy to build.
Yeah, they just snap together.
I asked about it. What about it makes them easy to build? And the person behind the till said, they just click together. I was like, oh my God, fucking finally.
I know, right?
That's the thing that's always put me off Warhammer is that I've just like recently...
super glue stuck to my hand.
Yeah, it's my favourite bit of
recently
building.
Recently I've discovered I'm not terrible at model painting. I'm not great, but I'm not terrible. But assembly's never been my forte.
Isn't it? I'm kind of the reverse, I think.
I'm amazed this table we record on has held up. Mainly because I didn't build it.
I can't paint for toffee. I'm happy to play.
I said I'll pay you money.
I'm happy to. Yeah, I'm happy to play a game out of the box without it being paid.
Yeah,
I think that's people are getting a lot less rigid about that than they used to be. Like I've been in a few shops where they have game nights or whatever, and they've kind of been quite open about you don't have to have it all painted. Whereas back in the day, it used to be you have to have painted your miniatures.
To a tournament
exactly.
painting competition standard.
I don't really.
How about fuck off, dickbag?
I mean, how long do you think it takes me? Like a good half an hour to do one model, and I've got.
Yeah.
And I decided that I was going to have an Imperial Guard army, so I've got like 20 Cadians to get through, and I've only got 500 points worth.
My painting pile is relatively. That's Lee from The Walking Dead. Yeah, so the Walking Dead miniatures game is
I've seen that.
Assembled, not painted. So I've painted them myself. They've turned out all right.
You're pretty good.
Yeah, relatively all right.
I'm getting better. The more I do, I'm getting better.
I've noticed I'm actually worse the bigger the model is and the less detailed it is. For some reason, maybe I just pay less attention or something.
Yeah, I think sometimes the quite small ones, they make stuff stand out deliberately. So getting the detail on is kind of the work is done for you a lot of the time.
Almost, yeah. But yeah, my painting pile is now one model from The Walking Dead, which is Rick on a horse because I had to.
Yes.
Because he just looks so fucking angry as well. I'll show you after we finish recording. Me, he looks irate. And the horse doesn't look that pleased.
I'm not happy that I'm glued to this horse.
And I've got the 3D. They do the 3D scenery packs.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead one's superb. Basically, if you have a zombie game in general or any sort of dystopian game, people say buy that scenery pack because they're just that good. And actually, I've kickstarted the Resident Evil 2 one. And one of the things on my list of extras is a scenery pack because it's going to come with typewriters and ribbons and doors, and there's some really lovely touches in it. So I was really happy to
nice idea.
Really happy to get involved in it. So I look forward to my copy coming. I think it's September next year. They have to make it, which seems fair. So I'm not an unreasonable man with this stuff. I don't expect a digital copy, so it'd be great, but.
Theoretical copy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're playing theoretical Warhammer if you haven't. I
am at the moment. I say I'm getting to that point. I want to get it all painted before. Well, not all painted, but mostly all undercoated at least.
At the end of the day, I love the universe of 40.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the fact it was such a money pit, I would have gone back into it because every now and then a little part in the back of my head goes.
Brad.
Oh, right.
That voice you're hearing in the back of it.
No, I don't think Brad would. Brad loves the universe and he'll happily buy all the side games. So, like, he'll buy Relic, Space Hulk.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought Lost Patrol recently and it's a quick fire game. You could probably pay about 5-6 games in an evening.
Necromunda's reprint's supposed to be fucking excellent.
They were raving about that when I went in the shop last.
That might get me to go because I used to love Necromunda.
I like the look of those Horus Heresy box sets, to be honest.
I haven't seen those.
There was 2 that I saw, and it was Trail at Calth and Prospero.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was another thing because one of those starter sets for like £80, I was a bit like, well, that's itch because I could just buy that,
and you'd
have
be done.
those models, and I could just play that when I wanted to play a game of 40k.
Yeah, I have one exception to my no. I haven't bought any Games Workshop stuff apart from paints.
You always got.
Well, I
know what you mean.
I did until I found Army Painter, and now I use Army Painter because they're a little bit more economical. But I mean, the paint quality is just as good. I don't think there's much for much. It's just that the Army Painter stuff is done in a way that you don't use up as much, and it doesn't dry out as easily. So but the one exception I will make is when they finally release Dark Elves for fucking Blood Bowl, because that's my race in Blood Bowl. And when they make those, I will buy a whole team, and I'll buy as many extra bits as there are to make my team. But they have to be Dark Elves. Nothing else will suffice. It's the only rule I have, and it's not much to ask, but apparently too much to ask.
The current edition of Blood Bowl is great.
I've heard it's brilliant.
Are they still doing stuff like that? Yeah. It looks like they've kind of completely nerfed the old Warhammer world.
It's called. Is it
Age of Sigmar?
No, they've got another one. Is it Shade Spire or something that's set in Warhammer Fantasy?
That's I think that's Age of Sigmar as well. It's all Age of Sigmar now because they ended the world and started again with this sort of 9 realms verse hopping madness that is.
Apparently, it is rather crazy. But...
Yeah, it seems quite crazy, but people are getting into it after the initial resistance because. The new main race was so obviously a fantasy version of Space Marines, like just in terms of their look. Yeah, they called the Eternals or something. Stormcast Eternals.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
And they look just like Ultramarines, sort of, but in like fantasy armor. But when you dig into the fluff, there's a lot of apparently. But I was just looking into it the other day because I wanted to understand.
Warhammer Fantasy never interested me as much as 40k.
I like to look at it. I was glad it existed, but
I did look into
Grimdark
it.
was always my thing.
I was happy with Blood Bowl. I think with Blood Bowl, though, I can always imagine that's in 40k.
Blood Bowl's got its own thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know it's technically the fantasy universe, but I thought there's nothing there that you could say that it's not.
Yeah. I'll tell you an interesting thing I did. Total non-secretary, apart from the fact it's to do with 40k, is I bought a old commissar on eBay. I had with my Imperial Guard box set, I got the current commissar model, the Officio Prefectus commissar, who's sort of got quite a good pose. He's got one metal arm holding his pistol, and then he's got one foot up on a rock, and he's sort of standing in this dramatic pose. Yeah. It's pretty cool with his gold frogging on the front.
Threatening to shoot people.
Yeah, all this gold leaf and that on his uniform and his epaulets, everything. And I was like, do you know what? I found old models, and just on eBay I typed in Rogue Trader to see what would come up. And a lot of stuff that is clearly not from Rogue Trader comes up when you type that in because they're just gaming you.
Yeah.
But I found the supposedly it's definitely a very old model. I'll give it that. I don't know if it's definitely from Rogue Trader, but it's from really far back. It's this commissar model with because he's got the sort of slightly shonky old pose. But the differences are quite interesting because they're not as different as you'd think. But he is. It's like. He looks a bit more like an SS, like a Gestapo guy, than like a Soviet, which the commissars clearly are now. You can tell the influences are different. He's not. I thought he was going to be much smaller.
Yeah,
like because the models have got bigger, but the main difference was in the size of his hat. Like the new guy has an enormous hat that like adds about another foot to his height.
Yeah,
metaphorically.
Well, most places use hats as a hierarchy.
Yeah, but the old guy's got a much smaller hat. Is the main difference. That's the main way that they've evolved over the years.
Yeah, nice. Are you playing any other tabletop stuff besides 40k at the moment?
Me and the wife are really into Star Wars Destiny, the card and dice game.
I know that. I know. Have a set of that.
Oh yeah, what you got?
So I have the 2 original starters.
Yeah,
and then I didn't realise I was doing it. This is one of those things, I'm like with gravity feeds and boosters and blind stuff.
Yeah, I like opening things.
Yeah. I must have accumulated about 20 of them just by buying them at random points. I just had spare few quid in my pocket. I just bought a few, and I was like, fuck me, I've got about a dozen of these, and I counted out and I had 22. So I opened them out, and I got some cool stuff out of it.
I was quite pleased when I got Chewbacca.
Nice.
At that point, I was like, I could stop now. I don't need any more.
I am happy. I am good. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Chirrut Imwe.
What did I get?
I had 2 of Chirrut Imwe, so I can play them with 2 dice.
I got Chirrut and Baze.
That's it. I need Baze.
Yeah. I didn't get I think I got Jyn Erso, but I'm not sure.
I got her. She's double hard.
Yeah.
She's like really powerful, actually.
I can't remember actually now to say that. I'll have to have a look when I...
Someone who dies.
Spoilers for last year.
The best card I've got. Have you got Rookie Pilot? I think it's from the most recent wave.
Oh, okay.
He's just a grunt character.
Yeah.
But you need to get it just to see the art of because I opened my booster and I've got out the first thing I got out the dice. I always do this. I get the die out before I get the card out because you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's just the face from the art on the card.
Yeah.
Sort of blown up a bit and put on the side of the dice. And you look at it and it was just this I'll make a sound now which will equate the sound that the face on the card would be making, which was sort of just like, eh! It's basic. Like, if this guy, it looked like, it was just the most gormless face, this rookie pilot. I don't know where they got this bit of art from, because some of the artwork's been used elsewhere, I think. But yeah, these guys just going, eh! I'll show it to you.
Rebel.
Oh my God. I looked at it for a good 10 minutes, just trying to, because I didn't know what to do with myself after I'd seen it. I was like, who signed off on this guy? And who agreed to let him pilot an X-Wing?
They came from behind!
So bad. But otherwise, a very good game.
Red 8 standing by. All right, Jeff. Red 8.
That's what it's like.
Red 8.
There's too many of them.
Okay, Jeff.
They're coming in. I can't count them.
Red 8.
3 marks and something.
Yeah.
I think they're marked.
So yeah, that's Rookie Pilot.
Rookie Pilot.
Let's go find that.
Nice. I have to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some Destiny stuff. I've not played a huge amount of it. Me and Crouch played it to test it out. We found that was one of those rare occasions where you really need to be playing the tutorial videos they do on different games. Like Fantasy Flight are usually pretty good on these. Normally you can watch the whole video and then play the game. With the Fantasy Flight Destiny one, we really had to have it going phase by phase. So we actually had to go through step by step and watch the video up until the point.
Puzzling it out for me as well.
For sure. But once we got there, we had fun.
Once you know what you're doing, you can have a really good game with it.
Yeah.
I think you can theoretically play it with more than 2 players, can't you?
I guess you could.
Well, it's but I've only ever done it 2-player.
I'm happy to give it a go at some point.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Well, I've got enough for a couple of decks. Just
a
big old folder full of cards.
I'm always wary of getting into something like that because I thought if I've got to buy God knows how many things, then just to get a good deck, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's a bit like Magic, except you only get 1 card. 5 cards and 1 dice for £3?
Yes, it's about that. Yeah. Maybe a few more dice, a few more cards than that. I might be.
No, does having more dice equate better to the thing, or
you only get dice for certain cards anyway?
Certain cards you just play and they have effects.
At least you know with a booster you're guaranteed to get a character then.
Not necessarily. It could be an item.
Some items and some upgrades and supports and stuff have their own dice.
Oh, okay.
Basically, you're not going to get. You're always going to get a dice with a card that goes with that dice.
And at least you know for the £3 you're going to get something.
Yeah. It's like gambling, kind of.
Totally.
Well, no, you're still going to get something for it.
You say tabletop industry has been doing it for years.
Yeah, ultimately you get something for your money. That's the distinction.
Yeah.
And there's an aftermarket, I suppose, with the physical.
Yeah, for sure.
If you get something more than once, you can
if I was to sell my clicks, I'd probably get more than I've paid for them.
Well, I was talking to you guys before the recording about how I'm part of I've just joined a Facebook group about HeroClix selling and trading, and so far I've done 1 trade, trading 6 for 6, and I was like, clear out. I'm not good at this. Yeah. I'm already looking at the group going, oh, there's some nice pieces. This is not why I'm here. Like, I worked it out.
I don't have a problem.
No. Well, no, the problem I have is storage space. Yeah. It's just trying to find a way to put them in a sensible way that can display them relatively nicely, but also protect them.
I'm happy to buy sets from newer.
Yeah.
Not tracing down any old ones. Oh, you'd like my Unimind because it's all.
Yeah, I like those. I like the ones where they use translucent plastic to do game effects. It's a
cool trick.
Oh, some of the stuff they do, like Green Lantern stuff, where they got the green light just kind of propelling them through the air. It's wonderful. The fucking Firefly that I've got, this is really not thrilling for the listeners, but fuck it. It's 2-tone plastic that goes from clear to orange as it goes up.
Oh yeah, no,
it's stunning. Yeah,
I'm just quite chuffed with I've only got I don't really play HeroClix, so I've only got a couple that I've dealt with, but
yeah,
I've got Ken. And his Hadouken is like clear blue
plastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it. I think that looks the dogs as much as his eyes are on his forehead.
Yeah.
Yep.
They always look like
Sounds like Heraclix.
They always look like they're travelling 100 miles an hour going.
Omer's got the
that bloody Thor
in his chariot, right? And Thor's eyes are just like, oh my god, this is so fast.
Yeah, he'd like.
No one ever told the Heraclix guys that you don't try and paint eyes.
No. It's massive eyes and letterbox mouth.
Yeah. Jeez, when you're painting miniatures, you give up before you get to the eyes, honestly. Yeah. The only time I've ever painted an eye was on this commissar. He's got one of those big prosthetic eyes that 40k guys always have.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's like a dinner plate on his face. So I was like, well, that's about the size that I could probably get an eye in there. And it just got one little point on the end of the brush, where bloop, and did a big bit of blue, and then ding, a little bit of white in the middle for like the glint. I was like, that's it. Yeah. That's the only eye I will ever paint.
The sculpts are better than they used to be. I think they realise that eyes are a no-no.
They've shown signs of improvement.
Anyway, so aside from Heraclix, I've also been playing the Turing Test. It was a free game on Xbox in October, and it's basically a Portal style game. It's a puzzler.
The same people as got. Might be wrong.
I think it is either that or Dear Esther, one of those two.
Yeah,
Chinese Room, I think it is.
Okay,
so that's Dear Esther, I think. Not 100%
sure. Don't.
Anyway, it's one of those.
I thought it was.
It's one of those walking simulator manufacturers, and it's a puzzle game. It's physics based. It's really fucking good. Really fucking good.
Yeah. I downloaded it because I want to play it at some point.
It's got a hefty amount of value as well. It's like 70 puzzles in the game. Wow. Yeah, the story is not bad. It's very much just like a mechanism to get you to the end, but it's it's engaging enough.
Got an alright story, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And then I've also I'm playing Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle on the Switch. I was playing it when you guys arrived, actually.
You guys played Splatoon 2?
No, I've heard good things, but I don't really play multiplayer much.
That's the reason I want to get a Switch.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I kind of wanted the Splatoon console they did with the purple and green Joy-Cons.
Yeah, they look nice, don't they?
I've
got the neon one. The standard neon one, red and blue.
I got the grey console, but I bought the red and blue Joy-Cons because I think it came with a copy of Snip.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, Snipperclips is pretty. I played
it was
the demo,
just like they went. You can buy a normal pair of regular Joy-Cons. Because I wanted 4 Joy-Cons, so have people over. I can play 4-player Mario Kart with the
or Overcooked. I have Overcooked.
And I because I was thinking, oh, that's expensive, and I went, well,
yeah.
Yeah.
But then it just said, I saw on the box it said included. I played the demo and thought it was.
That's pretty fun.
So I thought, I'll have the full game. That's something I can play with Cat or whatever, And I've dabbled a bit in it with her.
7 games for my Switch now. Zelda, which I finished. Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which is next. Mario Odyssey, when I finish that.
On my to buy list.
Yeah. Stardew Valley, Minecraft.
I've Minecraft way too many times.
Overcooked, I just mentioned. Picross is quite enjoyable.
And then I've
got almost like crosswords but pictures, and it's like the sort of like Sudoku style. Yeah,
I think I played the demo of it. PX or something.
Similar sort of thing. Picross is like it stands for picture crossword. So the idea is that you get a list of numbers and across the top and across the bottom, and those are combinations. So if it says 10, you colour in all 10 in that row. If it's in the column, it says 10, you colour down all the column, and you make a picture by filling in the gaps and it's like deduction.
What I was doing was like, you have 2 circles with numbers meant to join them together, but
not
crossing
not
each
quite
other.
Not quite like that. No.
It basically played like a mobile game.
Yeah. Picross is a bit more like it's about deduction and working out. Oh, well, that one can't be that one because it's position there is like, and you make pictures out of it. Although the pictures are tenuous as fuck, so I don't know how people. Sometimes it goes, it's a sailboat. I'm like, okay,
take your word for it.
I believe you. I see no reason for you to lie. It's a good, it's only like £7 or something. It's got like, I think it's got like 100 puzzles in the standard, and then it's got like a mega one where it's bigger one.
Part of me did want to buy Stardew Valley, but then I thought I have it on PC.
Same, but I thought it might be one I might play on the go.
I thought it might be a good one to play on the go.
Then I got lost in Breath of the Wild because the game's fucking superb. So good.
Amazing it took you that long to play it.
Well,
didn't you bought it on Wii U as well?
No, I didn't. Oh, no, I did. You're right. bought a second-hand I bought a second-hand copy, and then
I should just do that now.
Maybe.
I don't know when I'm going to get a Switch.
Yeah.
I should just buy it on the Wii
Breath of the
U.
Wild, well, what I've heard about the game is
It's identical.
It's identical, bar. Like, I think there's a bit of sound improvement.
Slight sound improvement,
Maybe.
ever so slight pixel crispness on the graphics, but it's not like a night and day difference. This is one of the things about the Wii U. By the end, I wanted all the games to be playable on the tablet as much as they were on the TV, and that wasn't the original idea.
No.
It was more like a DS where it was compatible with, and then it became like, oh, it's just the same picture on the same thing, but it's a smaller one. But actually, by the time I got to the end of the system's life, I was like, I'm all right with that because now I can play on the tablet if John wants to use the TV.
Exactly.
And the Switch
that's what I like
is exactly what I wanted, which is a decent powered handheld device that can then become a full size thing.
Of people I've heard
and
say
also
this.
normally upscales than the TV.
Yeah, I would say it is one of the best designed consoles I've ever seen in my life. So good. It's everything about it just ties together so well. With one small exception. Motion-based puzzles in Zelda when you're holding in handheld mode. Because you had to move basically it's in one of the Joy-Cons has got the motion control, so you can if you're just doing to
be honest, it's not much better on the TV mode because you're holding the pad and trying to.
Well, if you just have them separate, it's fine.
Oh right, I must admit,
for those puzzles, I would just separate them out.
Oh right, no, I was either playing it either on the handheld or I was playing it with the thing in the little controller.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. But
I mean, I got by the game okay.
What you'd find is if you wanted to tilt it, you'd have to tilt the Switch into a direction where you can't see the screen. So then when I took them out, I was like, oh, this is way easier.
Oh, yeah,
because you just tilt one Joy-Con and it just moves. Oh, okay.
You've got to change your configuration.
I think the worst temples were the motion control ones.
I liked the I mean, obviously, I really liked the ones
where
it's just
blessing,
where it's just like, you found it, so here you go. But I like the ones that were just called Samantha's Blessing, because it was just like you went to all the trouble of finding it as part of a quest.
Oh, yeah,
and then they would just go, have a free thing. But then there were ones with combat, the combat trials I liked. They were nails, some of them.
Some of them were,
yeah.
I had to go away and come back with better gear, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the thing about Zelda is like the open world has made a big difference, and the weapons degrade and break.
Yeah.
Except with one exception. But then even then you can use it, and if you use it too much, it's like you can't use this for a while.
Oh,
and then it recharges or whatever.
No prizes for guessing what that weapon could possibly be in bloody Zelda.
Yeah, exactly. I played that immensely. Like I immersed myself in that as my Switch game for a while, and that's Rabbids Kingdom Battle is fun.
It's got a good 50-60 hours with Zelda, I think.
Oh, I don't even want to.
Some people have done more than that. I know one person on my friends list has done. How did you? I need to.
Yeah, we should sort that out.
He's about 150. And I was just like, because that was the thing. I got to a point where I just like, I think I'm hard enough to take. I'd done the main quests, I'd done that, and I was a bit like, I'm literally wandering around trying to find temples.
I'm hard enough.
It wasn't that hard when I got to it.
When you get there, by the time you get there, it's not that bad.
The getting there was more difficult.
Yes,
than the actual boss battle.
I'm sure.
Learning that you can actually parry the blast head.
Yes, yeah,
especially against Gan.
Right, I better write it down.
Yep.
Parry the.
But yeah, Rabbids Kingdom Battle was surprisingly fun. I was expecting it to be like a mini game compilation. XCOM. It's a turn-based strategy game.
It's simpler than XCOM.
Yeah, for sure. It's cut down in many ways.
Yeah, but
if you were going to tell me that Rabbids Kingdom Battle was as in-depth and harrowing as XCOM, that would have been a surprise.
Don't lose Luigi, you'll never get him back.
Yeah. I learned a thing the other day. Apparently, you know how there's like it's very meme worthy. Like you've got the aliens running past you, the gun's here, and it's like 93% chance to hit, and you're just like, his face is on my gun. The developers did that on purpose and actually nuked your to hits to make it more cinematic. So the idea is that the harder your chances of getting out become, the easier hitting becomes, because it's designed to be like skin of your teeth escape. So like when you might say 90% to hit, but you don't actually have 90%, you have 60%.
XCOM is the only game I can think of where, well, obviously, I do cheat a bit I do save regularly, and if I completely bull it, I will reload my save.
I think that's cheating. It's a function of the
game.
game.
I mean, I'm not playing Iron Man mode or anything like that. But I will find that if I'm playing through a particular level, loser, I will replay a mission God knows how many times to try and get a better result. And to the point where I have gone like, I've played this mission like 5 times. I cannot save this one guy. He will die. There's no way of getting out of it.
You just got to wear it, yeah.
But those are the 2 main games I've been playing a lot recently, like Rabbids Kingdom and finished the Turing Test. I don't think I've picked up a new game since then because I've just finished Mafia and I've just finished Breath of the Wild and I need something light and fluffy. Yeah.
As I said, I broke up I did Recore, I then did Cuphead, I then did Deadpool.
Yes, nice.
And because it was in the sale for because I was like going, I'll wait for it to come cheap enough, and then all of a sudden it just appeared for stupid money. It was like
definitely worth it at that price.
So I was like, I can't go wrong with that. And but I've definitely had my £4.50.
Yeah, indeed. It's a really good game. It's really fun. It's like Devil May Cry style, but it's light on the combat, but it's funny on the big.
Yeah, it's just stupid. It's good, stupid fun. Exactly what you want with over the top violence. Exactly what you'd expect from a Deadpool game.
Yeah,
and awesome. It's quite comic friendly as well.
Yeah, I can't think. Like I say, I don't know what I'm going to play next. I've got Shadow of War. I might pick that up. Play that on Switch. I've got Skyrim coming, although the release date has been delayed indefinitely, and I don't know when I'm getting my stock. So the game's out because I could buy it digitally now, and I've almost done it a couple of times. I feel like it's like.
I was just waiting. Well, I thought I'd probably, and I imagine Assassin's Creed's going to tide me over way. There
is that, yeah. You got plenty to keep you going in that. Sure. Yeah.
I was like, it can be Christmas and.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So, what's on your Christmas and birthday list, Jesus? It's an open question because I'm going to round the episode off after this. So, you got Mario on yours. What else?
Games wise was Mario. Who would like to play Wolfenstein?
I've heard it's short though, super short.
I would explain why it's quite cheap in the Black Friday sale at the moment.
I'm sure it's very, very good because Wolfenstein Old Blood, New Order was great. Old Blood was good.
Old Blood was fun.
Yeah, New Order was fucking wonderful.
If it's just more of the same, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, same. Yeah. But if it's less of the same in terms of it's shorter, then I'll be.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm happy that despite all raging, I will get Battlefront at
some point. I will.
Yeah.
I'm not in any desperate rush to buy it. It won't be a full price purchase. After Christmas.
As I said, I'm happy with that. I would like to get even though, well, as I said, part of me is like, I'll get Skyrim on the go, but then part of me is a bit like,
done this already.
Skyrim.
But then the other part of me was, but I haven't played it since it's out, so I'd probably okay playing it again, to be honest.
Plus the other thing is like,
I'm not like one of these people who's played it several times or whatever.
As much as it's cynical to say, like if you don't buy the games they release for the Switch, in terms of like even the ports, like the updated ports and stuff, they're not likely to bring back that port you really want. Well, like if people are saying like, I really want what was it? I really want Fallout 4 for Switch. Ooh. I can love that game. Amazing. But I know if I don't buy Skyrim, they're less like if people aren't showing an interest.
They're already trying to port some of the stuff they are because apparently
what have they just announced? There's
they bought Doom out.
Wolfenstein's next year.
Yeah, apparently they're bringing out Wolfenstein 2.
I was kind of floored that they just announced LA Noire and brought that out.
Yeah, no big thing.
I was like, okay, yeah, cool.
Apparently it's really good. It's like got a touchscreen evidence collection mode. You can actually scroll, sort of swipe through and.
I wasn't sure. I was waiting to actually read reviews of the Switch.
I haven't read the reviews. I just know about the feature set.
I'm amazed if they're doing that they haven't tried to.
Maybe
portable GTA 5. I thought.
Oh man,
I know.
Imagine online. That'd be just in a coffee shop and you're just like online.
Yeah. Which is fine, and again, that would make me consider playing it again.
WWE 2K18. Got all the you could have a 6-man ladder match.
I imagine the graphics aren't as.
Well, they're scaled down.
Yeah,
they'll still look crisp, but they won't be.
But it won't be as good if you then put.
Apparently, the graphics. I've not played 2K18, but apparently the graphics on it are superb. All the
I've heard that apparently the likenesses are really nailed.
Mike, what about you? Anything on your Christmas list?
I had it in my brain. What is it? Oh yeah, I asked for Exploding Kittens.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the game?
Well, yeah. and the,
I just
and
hate
the game,
cats.
yeah. And do you know what? I think I've really got my heart set on some of them Castellan automatons we were talking about.
Nice.
No, they are very pretty from the
Yeah, they
pictures
do look
I've
nice.
seen.
Yeah, I just fell in love with them as soon as I saw them.
Yeah.
I guess it's such a relief to see Games Workshop do a legitimately good model. That I'm just like,
Helps a lot.
I was like, give it to me.
Kudos, I might actually buy this.
Yes,
I must have one of those. Thank
Exactly.
you. Well done. Any video game stuff you're going to pick up for your 360?
Probably not for now. No,
No?
after Christmas maybe.
Keep an eye on the. You've got online with your.
Yeah.
So you got gold and that.
No, well, I haven't got any. I haven't got any membership or anything.
Okay, so keep an eye on the. I think you still get access to the sales and stuff. Keep an eye on there because
Yeah.
sometimes they get some really good stuff on.
Yeah, just if it's not the sales, they're selling stuff online at like price still. Through
Yeah.
games.
There are some, yeah.
It's pretty naughty.
Yeah.
They're all there. But they're like
Some of them went back up.
49
Some of
still.
them went back up because they went backwards compatible.
Yeah.
And like things like the original Black Ops and stuff is still really popular online.
Everything I looked at was proper.
Yeah. But there are some really good deals on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's if you get digital stuff, this is the other thing as well. You can still do it with discs. But if you ever, down the road, you upgrade to an Xbox One,
They'll be there.
the downloadable stuff is already ready to go. If
Yeah.
it's backwards compatible already,
True.
you just get it in your list, so you can just install them. Yeah, I'm probably going to pick up. I don't know what I'm going to pick up actually, because I've got Hidden Agenda coming tomorrow.
Oh
Keep me
yeah,
busy for a little
I
while.
would like to play that actually.
Yeah.
So that will probably be on my.
Familiar with that game, Spike?
Nope.
So it's you know the game. You know the game Until Dawn. It's a choose your own adventure horror game.
I was thinking it would be some Halo thing. It sounds like a Halo title.
It's Forward Unto Dawn is the movie.
Yeah, that's what.
No, Until Dawn is a choose your own adventure horror movie, like a slasher.
Right.
You get to basically through your actions, you get to choose who survives the night.
Okay.
The same developer has made basically like a crime solving game.
Oh yeah.
But if you play with other people around you, because apparently one of the things they noticed, the developers, was how many people doing Let's Plays had other people in the room telling them which paths to take.
Oh yeah.
So what they did was they built a game where if you're sitting around on the device, you can link up using, I think, PlayLink, isn't it?
Yeah, which uses it.
Yeah, and you can
Everyone can see
actually
their phone.
interact with the game. You can have somebody browsing through the case file as you're walking around exploring crime scenes, or you can, and somebody in the room might have what's called the hidden agenda, which is actually they want to delay you because they want you to fail this mission. It's all kind of kept secret, so everybody's just like, just playing on their own devices, like Jackbox. Jackbox
That's a great idea.
is fun like that.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant. And
So yeah, that's my next game coming. Skyrim is somewhere in the mix. I don't know when that. Let's say that depends on when Amazon gets stock or when I get bored and buy it somewhere else. After that, all bets are off. Really depends on if 2K18 for WWE comes out by the end of the year on Switch. I'll buy that. And other than that, I'll just play through what I got. Wednesday's gone. Supposed to be like a zombie game.
I don't know. They've not. I don't
Must
think
be
there's
next year, isn't
I
it?
think it's next year.
Right, look forward to that one. Anyway, we'll do one in.
Cool.
Maybe we'll do an episode in early January where we talk about what's coming up. Because for all,
Well, that's
I'm
the thing
really
I
out
might
of
want to
touch.
do actually. Is I might want to replay Horizon Zero Dawn and get the Frozen Wild.
Oh yeah, that is a great game.
And seeing as I didn't get the perfect ending and buy for the platinum, I might be an excuse to replay another DLC.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I think that's about wraps it up for this episode of the E14 Gamecast. So my thanks to
Gamecast.
Blake Harmer and Spike Direction. I've been your host, Rob Wade. If you've enjoyed the show and this is your first time joining us, then you can subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Libsyn, Stitcher, Podbean, Podchaser, Hugh Pooh, Barley McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble and Gamescast. You can also find us.
Beanington.
Yeah, you can find us on iTunes and also find the Crazy Train podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Emotionally14, Facebook Emotionally14, Emotionally14.com, and YouTube Emotionally14. You can also find all our ads, widgets, and our TeePublic store where you can buy t-shirts, mugs, pillows, tote bags,
Phone cases.
other things you might want with Blake's face on them.
Yeah. Buy my red shirt.
Yeah.
Totally.
Guys, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Harmer the Appreciator. Find me on Facebook. Find me. Follow me to work. And you can also at Fuck's Sake Blake.
Nice.
Find me on Instagram at Spike Direction and on Twitter at BigBeat1985.
Oh.
don't know why I picked that. It was so long ago, I forget.
Yeah.
But I should probably change it.
Maybe you can get Spike Direction.
What, at Spy Direction?
Yeah.
Fucking
worth a try.
Might be too late.
Worth a try.
Someone might have nabbed my name. Oh well.
Well, I do need to change my Twitter handle. I could be a dick.
Don't you fucking dare.
Spike is at fuck's sake Blake.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RobWadeVision, and you can find everything else I do that's not Emotionally 14 related at talkstarwars.co.uk. But you can find most of the stuff I do on E14's YouTube, iTunes, and so on. So thank you very much for listening. Good Bob Games.
Peace.
Wah, wah.